Om Sthapakaya cha dharmasya sarvadharmasvarupine avataravaristhaya Ramakrishnaya te namaha. Om Namo Narayanaya. Namaskar to all of you. We shall begin today's session with the chanting of the verses from the meditation on Bhagavad Gita. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitam Mritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshinim Vasudeva Sutam Devam Kamsachanurvardhanam Devaki Paramanandam Krishnam Vande Jagadgurum. In the last discussion, we were talking about one of the epithets of the Lord, which was used by Arjuna to address Lord Krishna. What was that? Do you remember? Achyuta. Chuti means fall. Means opposite of that, no fall. Unfailing, and I told we can interpret that from the devotional point of view as unfailing, and from the philosophical Gnana Marga, Sankhya Marga, we can tell it as unfalling, infallible. So we went into the detail of unfailing with so many stories from the Puranas and about the Lord. Now we shall take up a little of the philosophical meaning. He who doesn't have a fall. So with that, we will continue forward. We all know that we have God within us, microcosm. Externally, macrocosm, behind this world is also the Lord, the Parabrahma, the Paramatman. Now, the highest form of God is Nirakara Nirguna, attributeless, formless, Nirakara Nirguna Parabrahma. So he is untouched by this world. That pure consciousness, the Lord, is untouched by any of this world. So here we can take Achyuta, one who is ever infinite, the one who never falls into this world of transmigratory existence. Now, the question arises, Lord Krishna or Lord Rama or other avatars, and now Ramakrishna, you tell they are avatars, they are Parabrahma Swarupa, they are Lord Vishnu or Narayana or Parabrahma who have come down to this earth. You tell that the Lord is not touched by this transmigratory existence, but they have come down. How did they come to this world? How did they fall to this world? So now the explanation is the Lord doesn't fall, he descends down. That's why his name is Avatara. Avatara means descending down. There is a difference between falling down and descending down. All of us, the living beings, we human beings, we fall down. That is the meaning of Janma. But the Lord will not fall, or when he takes birth in the world, we do not call that birth as Janma. Janma means falling down, but we call of the avatara of the Lord is Avatara. What is the difference between Janma and Avatara? Meaning, Janma means falling down. Avatara means descending down. We are not avatars. When we are born, it is falling down from our original nature, and that too because of our desires and our bad karmas or good karmas, whatever, to exhaust that karma or to enjoy that whatever good deeds and bad deeds we have done, we fall down. There is one more verse in the Bhagavad Gita. What is that? Kshine punyam martyalokam vishanti. Now you see, I think just before the Navaratri, we have the Pitrupaksha. At the time you worship all your ancestors. What do? You give them, offer them food and so many other things. So they come down. Why do they come down? Where are they staying? They are in the Pitruloka. There is another word where the Pitrus stay. Suppose while in this earth we commit very bad deeds, not the punya or good deeds, then we don't go upwards to these lokas. We have to go to the hell, or we will be born as animals. So when you do more punya and less sins, papa, then you go to the Pitruloka. Still better, after 3 generations, staying there in Pitruloka, you have done more punya, then again you will go to still higher lokas. So then heaven, where Indra, Chandra, Vayu, Varuna, they stayed, you enjoy those things. Now it is just like, suppose you have earned a lot of money. What will you do? If you have somewhat fair amount of money, you will go to Drakensberg and get a good residence there and stay and enjoy. After the money is over, time is over, you have to come back. But if you have more money, you go to take a yacht or a private jet and you go to different 5-star hotel. According to your money, you go to 3-star hotel, 5-star hotel, then 7-star hotel, or you may get a cruiser or whatever. So according to the amount of money and time, you go to different higher places. Likewise, when you do more punya too, then you can go to these higher lokas. But even after the 1,000 years, maybe you have done a lot of punya, let us hope, then you will stay in Swarga maybe for 10,000 years or 1,000 years or even 100 years or 500 years. The moment your punya is over, then the devatas or the angels, when you go there, they will welcome you with song and music and take there and make you enjoy all that. But the moment the punya is over, they will also, in a singing way with music, they will come and drop you down. Kshine punye martyalokam vishanti. The moment your punya is over, they will come and drop you down. You will come back again. You have to take birth here. So that's all. Again and again, you have to come down and go up and go here into this animal kingdom. If you do more sins, then you will get the animal kingdom, or you have to go to hell and heaven. How many days? So that is our human transmigratory existence, falling down. But the Lord, out of his free will, out of his compassion towards the living being, to lift us up to his level, he descends down. That's why the avatarana, avatara, I gave you the difference. So we are not avataras, but we are Janma, we are human beings. When we are born, it is falling down from our original state. So samsara patanam, when Bhagavan or the Lord comes down in the form of Krishna, Rama, Ramakrishna, or Parashurama, or whatever, it is called avatarana, avatara, one who never falls. Then why should he come down? To uplift humanity, the jivas, living beings. He comes down out of compassion. Since he never falls down from his original nature, he is called Achyuta. Doesn't fall down from his original nature. That is the meaning. Now, the second meaning we studied, trustworthy, never failing, all those things. So that is, we gave the two meaning of Achyuta. Now here, Arjuna is commanding Achyuta, Stapayame Ratam, station my chariot in between our army and the Kauravas army. I want to see, look at them. Arjuna is commanding Lord Krishna. After all, what is Krishna now? The driver, the chariot driver, you know. Sometimes when we are going out in the car, the person who is driving, we don't want to insult them, you're a driver or something. Then we'll tell, oh, Partha Sarathi, means Lord Krishna. Means Krishna was the charioteer driver, isn't it? So instead of calling them driver, we call them Bhagavan Krishna. Please lead us in your car, Partha Sarathi. But we should be careful. There was one more Partha Sarathi. What is that? Partha means Arjuna. Sarathi means driver or charioteer. So not Lord, only Lord Krishna. There was one more Partha Sarathi. Who was that? Uttara Kumara. So he was one of the, what do you call, so much of fear, he used to run away out of, he would not face war, he would go and boast in front of the ladies in the house. But when it comes to real war, he used to run away. Forcibly Arjuna had to take him, he wanted to run away seeing the army. So he is Uttara Kumara. So you can tease people by calling them Partha Sarathi. Partha Sarathi can become Krishna also, or Uttara Kumara also. So when somebody calls you Partha Sarathi, be careful. You may meet both of them. Lord Krishna, you should ask them whether you are calling me as Krishna or you are calling me as Uttara Kumara. Well, that might be. Here, he's commanding him. But after some time, now the position will reverse. We will see that in few more verses, you will see the whole thing. It reverses. Hey, Achyuta, Ratam Sthapaya. In between the two armies, place my chariot, O Krishna. That is, the Kaurava army is a little bit far away. And because of the distance, I'm not able to see their faces properly. Also, please place the chariot in front. Ubhayoho madhye ratam sthapaya. But for what purpose? Yavat etan niriksheham. So that I can very clearly survey. What to survey? Yodhukaman avasthitan. People who have assembled there to fight with us. And what? Kaihi maya sahayodhavyam. Let me clearly know with whom I have to fight. Asmin ranasur madhyame. In this huge venture called Bharata war or Dharmakshetra war. Let me know with whom I have to fight. Yotsyamana veksheham ya etatra samagataha. I want to have a clear view of them, and therefore take me in front of them, O Lord. Now I want to see not only Duryodhana. I know that I have to fight with Duryodhana and other people, the Kauravas, but some people have come to support him, knowing well that he is a adharmi, unrighteous person, a bad person, the villain, durbuddhe, very with good, bad nature. They have come to support him. So I want to see who are all the kings who have come to support him. So that is the reason. So, Yuddhe, Priyachikirshyavaha. Let me see the allies of Dhritarashtra or Dhartarashtra, the Duryodhana and other people. When he is naming Duryodhana or Dhartarashtra, Arjuna's blood is boiling. He's very angry. You should not see. With every word, as I told you, the human psychology and even the thought of that person is told by Sanjaya. So now Arjuna is angry. What is that word which you can see that he's getting angry, he's telling the word Durbuddhehe. What is the meaning of Durbuddhehe? Dur means bad. Anything dur, see, Duryodhana, Dushasana, all dur means bad. So buddhi means intelligence or avamati. Durmati means bad intelligence or bad guy. You have to note that expression. You have to refer to this. We have to refer to this later on too. See, Arjuna, who was now suddenly with anger and telling they are adharmis, they are unrighteous people, they have done the wrong thing, they are villains. Suddenly he will try to become a saint. And they will tell, oh, we will forgive all of them. Why to kill them? Let us go away to the forest and I will become a sannyasin and I will beg the food. So whole scenario will change, you see now after few more times. Now you should note this properly. Boiling with anger. He wants to kill them. I want to see who are now going to support these unrighteous people. So with this, all these words you can see. Adharma buddhi and expression is very important because Arjuna does not see this as a war among the relatives or between the family. This is not an issue between who is the relative and what type of relationship we have. That is not the issue at all. But in a fight between dharma and adharma, righteousness and unrighteousness. And who is the person who we are going to? Is he my brother? Is my cousin brother? Whoever is on the side of unrighteousness, we have to punish them. Whoever it might be. No doubt, Bhishma is our grandsire, great-grandfather, but he's standing on the side of adharma. What about Dronacharya, the Brahmana and the teacher? He's also siding the adharma, unrighteousness. See here, a great lesson is taught to us. Bhishma, the word Bhishma, see, very similar in the Mahabharata. And go to Ramayana, there is one more word very similar to that. What is that? Vibhishana. Bhishma. When he saw his own brother, elder brother, that too elder brother, who is like a father, he is doing the wrong thing of abducting the wife of another person and doing the wrong thing. First he advised him, do not do it, it's wrong. When Ravana didn't heed to his words, he gave up his brother and his family and everything and walked to the side of righteousness to the Rama. Now, it was a bounden duty of the Lord to protect him. And not only that, after Ravana was destroyed, Rama was forced to crown him. He told, I will not become the king. Please let me. I don't want to. No, Vibhishana. Now people will ask in future. Vibhishana, took the side of the righteousness and supported Rama. What did Rama give? At least to fulfill the worldly people's view, you have to become the king. The Lord will be forced to protect you and the good things. Why? You have taken the side of righteousness. But the great devotee, Bhishma, son of Ganga, one of the Ashtavasus, who gave Vishnu Sahasranama, Dharmashastra, so great archer, but Lord Krishna allowed him to die. What a bad death he had to have. Why? Because even though he's great, he's a devotee, he sided unrighteousness. He was on the side of adharma. God didn't protect him. He was punished. So, see, he had the boon that he can die anytime. Choose his death, the time of death. Ichhamranatva. But he couldn't die. He had to wait in the battlefield, seeing all his kith and kin family dying in front of his eyes on the battlefield. That too, where was he lying? On the bed of arrows. Thousands of arrows were pierced to the body of Vibhishana. So now when he fell down, that itself became a bed to him. So he was shedding every drop of blood on the battlefield, watching all the kith and kin dying, waiting for Uttarayana, and he had to die. Such a fateful death. Why? He took the side of unrighteousness. Vibhishana, though he was a demon, brother of Ravana, he was in the family of a demon, but he took the side of righteousness. So Ramachandra had to protect him forcefully. So now you should note this difference. Dharmo rakshati rakshitaha. If you protect dharma, righteousness, the righteousness will protect you. The Lord is forced to protect you. So that's why Krishna is called Pandava Pakshapati. Can he be partial? No, he's not partial. Then how did he side with Pandavas? No, he didn't side with Pandavas. He sided with Dharma, righteousness. So that you can, with all these things, you have to note, it should go within us, into our mind, into our psyche. So Bhishma is a great person. Drona is a very great person. He's a Brahmana. But now they are siding, they are on the side of unrighteousness. So he knows everything. So he is going to war and want to destroy them. But suddenly something is going to happen. Let us see what is going to happen. He did not have any sentimental problem. Arjuna did not have any emotional problem. His intellect was ruling his decision. Whoever he has got a sound intellect, whomsoever emotional mind under the control of intellect, he will have right judgment. All of us have emotions, you see. But if you give the reins to your intellect, then emotions and sentiments will not rule you. Then your judgment will be proper. If the emotions and sentiments overpower your intellect, then all the problems, all the sufferings, because then we will think righteousness as unrighteousness and unrighteousness and righteousness, and we will take wrong decisions. So we should not allow our intellect to be clouded by emotions. So you should give the reins to the intellect, buddhi. That is what you can see. Now, Arjuna's intellect was clear. There was no emotions surrounding or clouding his intellect. Only when emotions and sentiments begin to overpower your intellect, then all kinds of confusion will come. And until now, Arjuna did not have any emotional problem or sentimental problems. His intellect was very clear. That's why he has come to the battlefield. He has practiced his archery and everything just for this day. So intellect is clear. He was clear. He knows which is dharma's side and adharma's side, righteousness and unrighteousness. It is a fight between dharma and adharma, and in the society, dharma is more important than the temporary relationship. After all, human beings are subject to birth and death, whereas righteousness and dharma is eternal. And if you have to vote for one of these two, whether personal relationship or righteousness, you have to be clear enough in our thinking to choose dharma, righteousness. That is why we have the story of one of the king, Chola. What is that? And even Sagara also in the Ramayana, Sagara, Ramachandra's forefathers, Sagara. What did he do? His son was bad. He punished him, banished him. His own son. Why? He was not good. He was unrighteous. So he banished him from the kingdom. He gave the rulership to his grandson who was good. So they were towards the dharma. What did this king do? His own son had done unrighteous act, and that Raja or the king said, whether it is my son or daughter, my relation or somebody else, no question. Whosoever has done unrighteous deeds, adharma, he has to be punished. So where righteousness is given more importance than temporary relationship, there the Lord will be always there. Now you can see our politicians and other people, what is happening now, not only politicians, everybody. Though the worst of the mistake might be committed by the children of those politicians, they will hide everything. They will not allow them to be punished. Now you can understand, everybody, even ordinary people are also like that. So let us not tell about politicians. Our own, we will judge our own mind, our own intellect. Now, Arjuna did not have this problem. Therefore, he's telling Dhartarashtrasya durbuddhehe, the Duryodhanas, the bad intellect or the adharma, showing that his intellect is now stronger than the mind. And, our spiritual life or Vedanta, our spirituality is, now we have to understand it. Yes, it teaches that emotions are wonderful, very good. Why am I taking up this Vedanta or spirituality? Many people think that Vedantins or spiritual people are emotionless. Their heart is stone-hearted. People think, no, that is not true. They think that if somebody is suffering, they will sit like stone, telling that it is their karma, or it is what you call, everything is Parabrahma. This world is Maya. They think that they are Vedantins or spiritual people are stone-hearted. They are sentimentless people. But Lord Krishna, in this Bhagavad Gita, will tell a Gnani, a man of knowledge, wisdom, is the embodiment of compassion. What is that shloka? Maitra Karuna Evacha. Sentiments are wonderful. Emotions are wonderful. They are unique gift from the Lord. But our scriptures say, once the sentiments begin to cloud our intellect, then it becomes sentimentalism, which is bad. And once the intellect is clouded, the biggest problem in our judgment will be wrong. We will begin to think dharma is adharma and adharma is dharma. Sentimentalism will lead to delusion. But sentiments make me a human being. But it should not be clouding our intellect. Until now, Arjuna did not have the problem of sentimentalism, and therefore he happily came to the battlefield without any regrets or any compulsion, even though battle involves killing, destroying, himsa. Even though it is involving killing of his own kith and kin, Arjuna never felt bad because his duty was as a soldier to destroy the bad people. So he had why? To protect righteousness, dharma. As a last resort, ahimsa, no, himsa, that is destruction, can be taken up. Therefore, Arjuna did not have any problem until now. And that is indicated by the word durbuddhe, is very clear. But now we will see in some of the next verses, the whole scenario will change. Now we will go to chant the next verse. That is the 23rd verse. Last time we had seen that. We will again chant the 23rd verse. Please open the 23rd verse and please chant it after me. From the first chapter. Yotsyamana-naveksheham Yotsyamana-naveksheham Ya etatra samagataha Ya etatra samagataha Dhartarashtrasya durbuddhehe Dhartarashtrasya durbuddhehe Yuddhe priyachakirshavaha Yuddhe priyachikirshavaha. This is the 23rd verse we discussed about now. That is Dhartarashtrasya durbuddhehe, all that we have discussed just now, the 23rd verse. Arjuna was fearless. The Supreme Lord was his charioteer. His outlook was that the Pandavas were legitimately entitled to half the kingdom of Hastinapura, but the wicked sons of Dhritarashtra, the Kauravas, had not agreed to share their kingdom. Arjuna was ready for the battle, eager to get back what was rightfully theirs and punish them for all their past wrongdoings. His request for the chariot to be placed in the middle of the battlefield was to take a closer look at the Kaurava army. Arjuna wanted to see all those who had taken the side of injustice. He wanted to punish them equally as they had chosen to be on the wrong side. A little more explanation of all the 3 verses which you have learnt earlier. Because the whole of Bhagavad Gita is based on this wrong emotion, sentimentalism. The war has to begin. At this crucial junction, Arjuna gets a flash of thought, and that he wants to see the Kaurava army at close quarters. Even though he knows everybody there on the battlefield, he knows that he is going to fight the Kauravas, but suddenly some thought came to him. So that thought or that flash of thought is our punya. Why? Otherwise, we would have not got Bhagavad Gita at all. If he couldn't get that thought and he would not gone and seen them, then the battle started. There would have been no Bhagavad Gita at all. But now the thought of Arjuna that I will go and see them, and therefore he raises his bows and commands his driver, Lord Krishna, to place the chariot in the middle of the armies. And he tells Lord Krishna that I would like to see who are the people with whom I have to fight, who are going to be killed by me. And even at this juncture, Arjuna is very clear about his action. Arjuna knows this is going to be a war, which means himsa, destruction, is involved. Himsa is involved. Arjuna is aware of the fact that the war involves himsa or killing of the people. And no doubt our Dharma Shastra scriptures clearly say that ahimsa is an important virtue. Na himsyat sarvan. And one of the important vows prescribed by the scriptures is ahimsa, not harming other people. But in the Bhagavad Gita itself, Krishna is going to stress the value of ahimsa. But at the same time, our scriptures point out ahimsa is not an absolute value. For that matter, no values can be followed absolutely because every value has got an exceptions. This general or universal value is called utsarga. And we get exceptional situation that is called apavada. Therefore, ahimsa is a utsarga rule. But there are cases when one's duty is to take to himsa. You have to take up killing and destruction to protect something higher. For example, there is one verse in our Hindu Puranas or scriptures whereby it tells to protect the family, you can sacrifice one member of the family. To protect the society, you can sacrifice a family. To protect the country, you can sacrifice a village. So like that, sometimes there will be himsa. You have to sacrifice some people in the larger interest. Now, to protect the righteousness and punish the wrongdoers, now he has to take up harms. He has to take up himsa. Suppose tomorrow our country is attacked by terrorists. And your policemen, what did they do when the rioting was happening? They didn't protect you. They went away because they wanted to protect themselves. Arjuna is doing the same thing. How did you feel at that time? Suppose now the terrorists are coming and attacking your country. Then the army people and the army general tell, oh, himsa paramo dharmaha. We should now follow the values that we should not kill anybody. So I will take up sannyas. I will go and stay in my home. How will you feel? What will you feel if he deserts and goes away? Just like that, Arjuna is behaving now. So that is called misplaced sympathy, misplaced compassion. Have you noticed? Many times you go to the temple and also you see the gods and goddesses in Hinduism. All gods and goddesses are embodiments of compassion. But have you not noticed? Every god has a weapon. Why does God Shiva have the Trishula? Why should Divine Mother have the Khadga? Why should Vishnu have the mace and the chakra? If they are embodiment of compassion, why should Subramanya or Muruga have a veil, the spear? So, that is necessary. Compassion, yes, God, every god of ours, gods and goddesses, they're supposed to be embodiments of compassion. You will see all our gods and goddesses got weapons. Whether it is Lord Shiva, whether it is Lord Vishnu, or any Devi, Subramanya, or all the gods, though they are embodiments of compassion, they do not believe in misplaced compassion. Misplaced compassion is dangerous to the society, and especially a Kshatriya, a warrior, must be aware of the fact that for Kshatriya, ahimsa is not an absolute rule. For the sake of protecting righteousness, he has to kill people or the bad people. He has to punish the wrong people. As Krishna will say later, Paritranaya sadhunam, vinashaya cha dushkritam. What is that? To protect the righteous, good people, and I have come down to this earth to protect the righteous and punish the bad. Krishna himself tells in the some other verses now. So both are necessary. Dharma samsthapanarthaya, to establish righteousness. I come down again and again. Exactly, God does destruction for the sake of dharma samsthapanartham. Even a kshatriya who represents this Lord has to take to destruction for the sake of dharma samsthapanam. And Arjuna is intensively aware of this fact. Therefore, his heart, there is no regret to come to this war. There is no pang. No doubt he is going to kill thousands of people, but he does not have any regrets or compulsion, because he clearly says, Dhartarashtrasya durbuddheha, I am doing this for the sake of protecting righteousness, and this is the duty of a kshatriya. Now, how to define this word kshatriya? What is the meaning of this? The definition is kshatat adharmat trayate iti kshatriyaha. Who is a warrior? Who is a kshatriya? Kshata means adharma or broken, unrighteousness. Trayate, protects, iti kshatriyaha. Kshatriya is one who has to protect the society from adharmic people or unrighteous people, and he should try non-violence method in the beginning. You know, in our Arthashastras, Niti Shastras, they tell how should you handle any situation. Suppose you have some situation or problem. How should you handle? They will tell, first you have to take up sama, then dana, and bheda. Last thing is danda. Kautilya. So mention 4 upayas. What is that? Sama, dana, or dama, danda, and bheda. As always, to reach a solution in state politics, to avoid conflicts and war situations. It comes in the Arthashastra. This phrase is also commonly used when you need to find a solution to problems anyhow. In India, it's always told sama, dana, bheda, danda. So what is sama? Whenever there is conflict, whenever there is problem, do not take up danda, stick or arms in the beginning itself. First, start with sama. The first step means conciliation or alliance. When conflict arises between states or people, first step is to talk. There are 5 types of conciliation: praising the person, referring to a relationship, for example, marriages and other things, pointing out common benefits, telling what might happen in future, what will be the consequence if something is done in a specific way, and lastly, putting oneself in others' disposal. This is the different way of sama, to start with the first upaya for any conflict. The second is, if that fails, dana. The second means is by gifting, compensation. Sometimes it is also referred to as dama, means price, which means you have to pay the value by giving money or some gifts, try to avoid conflict. Then if that also, those 2 doesn't work out, and the next step is bheda. What is that? Refers to the usage of logic or trickery or influencing the mind, creating dissension and discord in the enemy so that there will be no conflict. That is the third one. Then that also fails. Then the last is danda. I think Hindi people will know what is danda. Stick. It means to use arms. Last is arms, that is permitted. So danda refers to force or armaments. Take up war with the opposite state. This is the last resort using military force. So there are 3 types of dandas: killing, tormenting, plundering, all those things. All of the above 4 upayas are generally spoken together in a single colloquial phrase in India: sama, dana, bheda, dandopaya. This is very common quote that is used all over India as a suggestion to resolve any conflict. So don't go to himsa in the beginning itself, but last resort. So that is what Krishna will tell, but Arjuna is trying to run away. Now we will go to the next verse, that is the 24th verse. Sanjaya Uvacha, Sanjaya Uvacha, Eva Mukto Hrishikesho, Eva Mukto Hrishikesho, Gudakeshena Bharata, Gudakeshena Bharata, Senayorubhayor Madhye, Senayorubhayor Madhye, Sthapayitva Ratottamam, Sthapayitva Ratottamam. Sanjaya Uvacha means Sanjaya said. What did he say? He is now talking to Dhritarashtra, the blind king. He is giving all the commentary. O Dhritarashtra, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, that is Krishna, the conqueror of sleep, Sri Krishna, that is Rishikesha, then drew the magnificent chariot between the two armies. That is the meaning of this verse. Now, Sanjaya is telling, O Dhritarashtra, Dhritarashtra is addressed as Bharata. Why is he called Bharata? There was a great king named Bharata. So all these people are descendants of that king. One of the reasons, there are so many reasons why India is called Bharata. Because of this king, too, a great king, the name Bharata came. So you are a descendant of that great king, Dhritarashtra. So you can avoid war even now. If you are the king now, you can stop. So see, every word while he is addressing, he is trying to rake up or bring out that goodness in him, addressing him as Bharata to that blind Dhritarashtra, but it's blind to all those things. Last time I told thick-skinned or buffalo skin, I told that. So like that, O Dhritarashtra, commanded thus by Arjuna, Krishna placed the great chariot between the two armies in front of the great warriors like Bhishma and Drona and all other kings, and said thus, O Arjuna. See, this is for the first time we heard Arjuna speaking to Krishna, and now for the first time Krishna in the next verse will be telling Arjuna, O Arjuna, see these Kauravas assembled. The next verse that is going to come. After Arjuna gave this commandment, Krishna also did not speak a single word, and Arjuna also did not speak, and therefore Sanjaya comes in between. He gives the report. Sanjaya Uvacha. He said, what transpired in the battlefield? Uktaha evam Rishikeshaha. Lord Krishna, the charioteer, was commanded thus by Arjuna. Uktaha, commanded by Arjuna. What was the command? What was the name now given here as Gudakesha? See, so many names are there. Rishikesha is Krishna. Gudakesha is Arjuna. Why is he called Gudakesha? So we have to explain it, and we have to give the significance here. Very important name. So Arjuna is given a beautiful title here, Gudakesha. For all of us, this is a very great lesson, you know. Why? Gudaka means sleeping, dullness, tamas, laziness, all that name, tamasic nature or sleeping nature, it is called Gudaka. Isha means the Lord. So Arjuna had controlled tamas, controlled sleep. That's why he's given the name Gudakesha, Gudaka Isha. What is Krishna? Rishikesha. What is Rishika? Remember, when is our quiz for our people? Because they are not knowing what is Rishika. I had explained a lot. Rishika means senses, Indriya. Our senses, mind, ears, nose, tongue, everything is senses. That is Rishika. Isha means the Lord. The Lord of all the senses and the mind who stays inside is the Lord. So Krishna is called Rishikesha. And also told there is a place in Himalayas, Rishikesha. That is Rishikesha. He is called master of the senses. Here he is the master of the sleep. Master of the sleep means not, is a very good sleep. Sleeps nicely. No, that is not the meaning. Master is in a different, he has controlled sleep. That is the meaning. So don't take the wrong thing. As if some students were asked, the teacher wanted to give a demonstration and practical demonstration. So the teacher kept a pail of alcohol and a pail of water, fresh water. Pail means bucket. And allowed the donkey to come near it. So the donkey came near the pail of alcohol, he smelt it, and it shook his head and went by the side. It went to the pail of water, fresh water, beautiful water, it drank it. Now the teacher told the students, come on children, what do you get from this? You know, one of the backbenchers, the prankster, stood up and said, sir, only donkeys drink fresh water. The others drink something else. So don't take the meaning Gudakesha means one who sleeps nicely. It is not so. It's a master of the sleep. So Isha means a master, the one who has won over. Therefore, Gudakesha means the one who is not tamasic person. One who has conquered tamo guna. Because if a person is under the grip of tamas or tamo guna or sleep, he is never fit for learning Bhagavad Gita. Now Krishna is going to start the Bhagavad Gita. Just before that, Arjuna is addressed as Gudakesha, means the controller of sleep, means it is all an indication to all of you. What is that? You should not be sleepy. You should be controller of your sleep. So you should give up tamas. So see, everything, every word has some speciality here in Bhagavad Gita, you see. So the Lord is calling him as, just before starting the Bhagavad Gita, Gudakesha. So means here is one who is not a tamasic person, who has conquered tamo guna, because of, if a person is under the grip of tamo guna, he is never fit for learning Gita. Now can you understand why Swami Vivekananda told, before learning Bhagavad Gita, learn to play football. Should be active. Lazy people cannot understand, tamas people cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. They will rather misunderstand. See, every word has some speciality here. Vyasacharya has used all these things so nicely. That is the greatness of our Hindu rishis and poetry of the scriptures of Hinduism, you see. So, yeah, because if a person is under the grip of tamoguna or sleep, is never fit for learning Bhagavad Gita. Indirectly, Vyasacharya says Arjuna is not a tamasic person, not a dull-witted person, is a competent enough to keep awake in the class, Bhagavad Gita class. So all the Arjunas and all the other people now, you are getting a message from Krishna. What is that? To come out of that dull-witted nature, tamas. If you have to be competent for Bhagavad Gita class, therefore Arjuna is competent enough to keep awake in the Gita talk. You know, I used to tell one stories. I used to take Bhagavad Gita classes in Johannesburg and other people too. So there was one mother there. She was little short by stature. She used to sit behind a tall person and hide and sleep nicely, so that I should not see. So I was doing the classes. She would all the time go and sit behind the tall person so that she will not be seen, so that she can sleep nicely. What to do? How can I tell her? I don't want to hurt anybody. So I told a story one day. After that story, then she will never sleep. What was that story? Now suddenly we will go to Ramayana. What is that? Kumbhakarna has come to the battlefront. You know who is Kumbhakarna? The younger brother of Ravana. So what was the gift he had asked from Brahma? Should be always sleeping. Only to eat some food, he has to get up. So he was sleeping. They woke him up. He was very strong. Come to the battlefield, he's like a mountain. He's killing the Vanara Sainya like just dust is killing. Rama thought, I have to kill this fellow, otherwise my army will be decimated. So he released one arrow. It cut one arm of that big demon and it fell on the Vanaras, and so many Vanaras died again. So next time, Rama was very careful. When he cut the next hand, he didn't allow it to fall down. He allowed it to go to the ocean, Indian Ocean, and fall. And after that, he cut it into pieces and made it to go to fall to the Indian Ocean. Then he was killed. It was jubilation. Vanaras were so happy. Kumbhakarna is killed. But now a small problem came to Rama. What was that? You know, there is in Hinduism, there is Devata or goddess for everything. So there is one goddess for sleep also, Nidra Devata, sleep goddess. So she came, O Lord, Prabhu, O Lord, you are also my Lord. You have created me. All these days you had given Kumbhakarna as a shelter to me. I was enjoying sleeping in his body. Now you have taken away my shelter. What shall I do? Where shall I go? Ramachandra told, see, I am the Avatara now. You will not get any shelter now because I will be here in the Treta Yuga. In the Dwapara Yuga also, you will not get any shelter. Why? Lord Krishna, I will come down as the Avatara. You will not get shelter. Then what shall I do, Lord? In the Kali Yuga, Swami Swatmaramanandaji will be doing the lecture at that time. So many will be there, audience. You can take shelter in any of them. You can take shelter in any of them. So after that, that mother would never sleep. So here the Nidra Devata has taken shelter in that mother. So after that, she would never sleep. Whatever that might be. Now, before starting the real Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna is indicating, and Vyasacharya was also indicating, with your tamoguna, and if you don't control sleep, it's difficult to understand Bhagavad Gita. Indirectly, Vyasacharya says Arjuna is not a tamasic person, not a dull-witted person. He is competent enough to keep awake in the class. Therefore, he is competent enough to keep awake in the Bhagavad Gita talks. So I told you about the Kumbhakarna story. He is in the negative sense the master of the sleep, you see. Arjuna is in the positive sense the master of the sleep. Kumbhakarna is in the negative sense, which you were thinking. Master of the sleep means you'll nicely sleep. Now, why is Arjuna called Gudaka Isha? I know, I told you he's a great Kshatriya. He was an ambidextrous person who could release arrows. And he had got so much of speciality in fighting and other things. He was a great warrior. But for you to be a great warrior, you have to control sleep. Even in the night, you should be in the battlefield. You know, in the army training, I have heard many of our students going to the army, navy, and this thing. They will break your sleep. They will make you to be awake in the night 2 days, 3 days. You should be guarding. They will break your sleep. So not only at that time, Arjuna, even now, the army people, the Kshatriyas have to break their sleep. So is it possible? Maybe Arjuna at that time was a great avatar of Nara and he could do it. Can we do it now? Yes. Just a few years back, many of our South Africans have come from where? Bihar, isn't it? So from Bihar, another great direct disciple of Sri Ramakrishna came. Just like at the same time, when you people came to South Africa, because of the problems, poverty and other things there in Bihar, Latu Maharaj, he was also from Bihar. Patna, near Patna, there is a place. So he was born there. Because of the famine and poverty, he had to come to Calcutta. You came to Calcutta and from there to South Africa and Fiji and other places. But Latu Maharaj went to Calcutta and stayed there. He met Ramakrishna. So he became a saint. So what did Latu Maharaj do? What happened to him? Yes, he too became a Gudaka Isha, Gudaka Isha. How? Let us see. Wonderful life. One incident in the life of Latu Maharaj or Swami Adbhutananda in particular reveals Latu's direct and uncompromising approach to spiritual life. His name was Rakturam. Means when he was born, he was into a lot of difficulties. Father died, his mother died, and so much of problem. So they named him as Rakshatu Rama. Oh Rama, only you can protect this child. That Rakshatu Rama became later on, they couldn't pronounce. So it became Latu. His name became Latu. Leto, Lato, whatever. Now, this Latu or Rakshatu Rama would become the direct disciple and a great saint because seeing his portion of knowledge and wisdom and Brahmagnana, Master himself had predicted in future, this shepherd boy, he was a shepherd boy, unlettered. Whatever Master could do, he couldn't teach him letter. He tried to teach him Bengali alphabets, he couldn't. Such an unlettered, he was a cowherd boy or a shepherd boy. He became a great realized soul, Brahmagnani. So Master had predicted in future you will see gems of Vedanta will come from his mouth. Seeing his knowledge, Vivekananda was dazed and surprised. That's why he gave him the name Adbhuta. Adbhuta means such great surprise. Can a cowherd become a great saint? So that's why he gets the name Adbhutananda. So now, one incident in particular reveals Latu's direct and uncompromising approach to spiritual life. One day what happened, he was getting trained in Dakshineshwar under Sri Ramakrishna in spiritual life. He's a young boy at that time, maybe of 16 or 17 or 18, whatever. Tamas is there. He fell sound asleep early one evening at Dakshineshwar. Ramakrishna noticed his disciple, instead of meditating in the evening, is sleeping nicely, sound sleep. Not only Sri Ramakrishna woke him up, but rebuked him sharply. Latu, if you sleep in the evening, when will you meditate on God? You should meditate so deeply that too, especially in the night time, that you should not know how night passes unnoticed. Instead, your eyelids are heavy with sleep at this auspicious time. Did you come here to sleep? That was the rebuke of Sri Ramakrishna to Latu, this young boy. That was enough. Latu was not a thick-skinned person. A subtle. See, that's called Shraddha. You all think Shraddha means just belief. Shraddha means immediately putting into action the words of the Guru or the elders or the scriptures. Belief is you just hear from these ears and leave it in the other ears. You will not put it into practice. Just believe. Shraddha means whatever you get, the good things, immediately you will put it into practice. That is Shraddhavan Labate Gnanam. Krishna tells in the Bhagavad Gita. Person of Shraddha will get knowledge. See now, the moment Master rebuked him, scolded him, have you come here to sleep? How should you be in the evening? Should be meditating, thinking of God. That's all. That's enough. The words of Guru, these 2 sentences are enough. That was enough. The Master's scolding caused a veritable upheaval in Latu's mind. In his own words, let us hear in the words of Latu himself. How can I express the deep sorrow that seized me at Master's words? What a wretch I am, I said to myself, that having the rare blessing of such holy company of the Avatara Master, sleeping here, wasting my time. I should be wasting my time. I started to whip my mind. Latu is telling. I started to whip my mind mercilessly. I splashed water on my eyes and began to walk briskly along the bank of Ganga. When my body became overheated, I returned and sat near him for meditation again. Again, I dozed off. Sleep. While meditating, I started dozing. I dozed off. And again, I went out for a walk. Thus, I fought the whole night. The struggle continued the next night also. It was a terrible fight. Sleep would overcome my eyes during the day, but I did not give up. The battle went on day and night. Finally, night sleep came under control, but not day sleep. After 2 years of struggle, Latu conquered sleep and would never again sleep at night. Determination, willpower. So he got realization of the Atman. He got the grace of the Guru. So Gudakesha. Why did Lord choose Arjuna? He was the master, conquered sleep. Arjuna tried hard. As a warrior, he could shoot at night time too, and he could sleep whenever he wanted. He could be awake even at the dead of the night whenever he wanted. At will, he could control his sleep. How did he get it? By practice. You can see even stronger than that, Latu Maharaj has conquered sleep. That he never slept just with the words of his Guru. That is Guru Bhakti Shraddha in the words of the, what is Shraddha? In the Vivek Chudamani, Shankaracharya tells, Guru Vakyasya Shastra Vakyasya Satyabuddhyavadaranam Sa Shraddha Katita Sadbihi. What is Shraddha? Guru Vakyasya. We get the mantra diksha and forget what Guru has told. Never practice it. After many years, what is the name of the Guru? What mantra did he give? Which God? This is our Shraddha. Guru Vakyasya Shastra Vakyasya Satyabuddhavadaranam Sa Shraddha Katita Sadbihi. That is Shankaracharya tells, see Latu Maharaj. Just 2 sentences from his Guru Ramakrishna. Finished. How many years he struggled to overcome sleep? After 2 years of struggle, Latu conquered sleep and never again slept at night. Swami Sharadanandaji Maharaj, another direct disciple, wrote, Latu was invariably seen praying and meditating the whole night and sleeping during the day. His life was a literal example of the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. In that, what Bhagavad Gita teaching? 2nd chapter, 69th verse. I will not quote it. You should find out. It's a homework for you. Go find out, because every time I find it out and you forget it. So you find out. 2nd chapter, 69th verse. I will give you the meaning. What Krishna is telling about this sleep. In that which is night to all living beings or the worldly beings, a man of self-control is awake. And where all beings are awake, there is night for the sage who sees. So literally, our Latu Maharaj invariably seen praying and meditating the whole night and sleeping during the day. His life was a literal example of the teaching of Bhagavad Gita. So see, just few 100 years back, there was Latu who had controlled sleep, Gudakesha. So if you give the example only, then you will also get the inspiration. There Arjuna for the war and battlefield to become successful, Dhananjaya. But here for the spiritual life, because we are all spiritual aspirants, then should we not also note, I will just give you the Gudakesha, not only Latu, his Guru also was a Gudakesha. Ramakrishna was also Gudakesha. How was he? Let me take you through that too. And we will stop our discussion here. How Sri Ramakrishna was also a Gudakesha, remembering the happenings of that time. The master said to us now and again in the youthful day of Sri Ramakrishna. At that time, maybe master was 21 years old or 20 years old or whatever, 18 years old. Remembering the happenings of that time, the master said to us now and again, far from such a state being fully produced in ordinary people, bodies and minds, 1/4 of such changes is enough to bring their lives to an end. But I remained occupied with some visions or others of the Divine Mother during the greater part of the day and night, that saved the situation. Otherwise, it would have been impossible for this sheath, that is, Master is showing his body, showing his own body, to survive. Because he was getting so much of visions of Mother day and night, this body survived. Without that, so much of hardship and rigor he underwent, sadhana, tapasya, that the body would have gone. I had no sleep at all for 6 long years. Master didn't sleep for 6 long years. Master himself is telling. How much was the intensity? I had no sleep at all for 6 long years. The eyes, Master is telling, his eyes lost the power of winking. These are Master's own words. I could not close the eyes in spite of my efforts. I had no idea of passing of the time and was not at all conscious of my body. When the attention turned from Divine Mother to this body, even if a little, I felt apprehensive, thinking, am I on the verge of insanity? I stood before a mirror and put my finger into my eyes. What is the reflex action? If something, even a small thing comes, the eyelids close like this. But Master, to test, he stood in front of the mirror and put his finger into the eyes. It would not wink. It had lost the power to wink. Why? 6 years he was just meditating and thinking of God. No sleep. He has lost the power to wink his lids. Now, I stood before a mirror and put my finger into my eyes to see whether the eyelids closed. I found the eyelids were even then equally incapable of winking. I became alarmed and wept, complaining to the Divine Mother, Mother, is this the result of calling you thee? Is it the result of my absolute reliance on thee that thou hast given this terrible disease to this body? At the next moment, I said, let anything happen to this body. Let the body go off, die, or fall down, if it is to do so. But see that thou does not forsake me, Divine Mother. I do not care for this body. Do reveal thyself to me and bestow thy grace on me. For, Mother, I have utterly taken refuge at thy lotus feet and have absolutely no support except thee. I used to weep thus for some time, when my mind would again be filled with extraordinary ecstasy. The body appeared to be a trifling thing, something unworthy of attention. Then I was blessed with her vision and consoled by the Divine Mother herself. She would come down and console me. Then I was blessed with her vision and consoled by her words, assuring freedom from fear. See, our Master also was a Gudaka Isha, controlled his sleep. 6 years he didn't sleep. So that is Gudaka Isha. Then only you can understand. Control your tamas, overcome the tamas, and you should be bright and hearing and with great concentration. So let us see what will happen to, how will you control your sleep? Don't start doing like not to sleep the whole night. Sleep nicely. You have to sleep and your health should be maintained. But don't sleep during the Gita class. That's all. Okay. So we should conclude with the prayer. Mukam karoti vachalam bhangum langhayate girim yat kripatamaham vande paramanandamadhavam. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.